Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are enjoying this Monday. I haven't been on the weekend because family has just put me over to the edge, and I still haven't gotten anything done. But anyway, I wanted to tell you guys about a few things on my mind. First of all, I will promise you guys right now, I will tell you guys about Scorpion. I know I would like to do this on a separate video, but I don't want to because this is going to be ridiculous, and I want to get this off my chest. I was supposed to have a video up yesterday, but so anyway, so if you guys haven't seen tonight's episode of Scorpion, and if you're living in Central Mountain and West Coast, please stay off until you guys see it. Otherwise, if you are living in East Coast and you haven't seen it yet, better stay off too, and go on to CBS.com, or go and just check out the episode from tonight, or if you have on demand, do that as well. And I'll probably leave a link down below once the episode is up of Scorpion. So those who have thank you for sticking around. So tonight's episode of Scorpion has to deal with a woman named Lucinda, who I tweeted. I can't believe I just tweeted this. I call Lucinda a puta. And if you guys don't know what puta is, best things you do, go search for it. It's a word. It's a slang word in Spanish that I cannot say. And it's me saying that because I was mad. And how I know this is actually because I was trained to work on a fan fiction, and I had to look for. It was a fan fiction I was working on. I had to look up for slang words in Spanish, and I didn't know when to go into further details because it won't be out in public. It will be kept tightly closed. But yeah. So anyway, the reason what happened is she was first, I think she was trying to get the whole entire Team Scorpion to, I guess, the winery tour, but Toby and Happy had to do something else before they can go. But anyway, they went in and they got gassed and drugged, I should say. Well, they got gassed. It was more like, almost felt drugged, but they were gassed. Turns out that Lucinda was, like I said, Lucinda is a puta, because the reason why is because she was a bad girl. I don't mean like in a sexual way. She was a really bad person. That she was in fact the sister of a country and also a diplomatic. She was she had diplomacy, meaning she was the ambassador to this country. Anyway, it turns out she kidnapped them, but they were not in another country. They were actually still in the United States. They were just brought into another location out in California. And apparently, Lucinda wanted to do was to have the whole entire one Team Scorpion to make counterfeit money in order to screw around the U.S. economy. And I was like, really? Dang. So because all this craziness and whatnot, turns out that the guys, including Paige and her mother Veronica, had to escape. And then, thank God, Toby and Happy, they didn't go on in a limousine because they would have been stuck around. But they ended up somehow at the winery tasting the wine, and then they found out that somebody was after them. Well, Happy noticed more because Toby was, I think, was nearly almost became into a drunk stupor. I know I said that, but don't ask me how I know this. And I don't know who said this, but I think somebody, I don't know if I got it off of TV or from my mother. Don't ask me. Please don't ask me how I know that. Okay. So anyway, so it turns out Happy and Toby really ended up finding out that they were about to be kidnapped because some guy with a gun tried to kill them, or tried to actually get to them, but turned out he failed. And they found out that they were, in fact, and they found out that Walter and everybody were kidnapped. Now, the whole entire situation that Walter and his team to get out of there and to deal with Lucinda. And actually, Lucinda got in trouble for espionage, though. And and the way they had to deal with the currency is they exploded because of what Walter had done. Anyway, so because of all this nonsense and whatnot, then there was also other things, including Walter tried to explain to the Secret Service agents why a bunch of what happened to the situation. I think they said they were Secret Service or they were Homeland. I'm not sure. Jeez, I thought Kay would have handled everything. Though Sylvester tried to get Paige to tell Walter to knock it off, but Paige refused. Even though Sylvester was really concerned about Walter. Though I think, though if he shouldn't realize what Paige done, I mean, seriously, he should just go off and deal and handle it on his own. Anyway, that's not the only thing that's going on. Although Paige and her mother Veronica are really nearly almost at each other's ends, but even though with a lot of things they end up doing, just getting them both out of trouble. I mean, Veronica did do that. But now the only question is, somebody is after Veronica. And the only thing she kept saying is the Tennessee or Kentucky two-step. I don't know. I always hear this. I nearly forgot. And there's no mention about this. Hopefully we'll find out next week on another episode of Scorpion. And I know that even though how things went, and of course, actually there's one thing I also realized, that Toby and Happy are both broke. But the funny thing is, Happy says she's collecting rare motorcycle pieces. And I'm like, if they're both broke and she has all of this, why isn't she selling it? I mean, why haven't the writers decided to have Happy to sell it in order to get the money for the wedding? I mean, seriously. Duh. Anyway. So, yeah, it was really kind of crazy, and I just wanted to let you guys know. Now, while I'm continuing on filming, I would like to talk about some other things. For instance, my mother is really gone crazy, and I'm very worried and angry and upset. She's trying to turn what I've been seeing on the news, or what I've been hearing, at least from, I'm not sure, wait, did Phil try to talk about this? I don't know. I think he did, probably in the last couple of I think a couple of days ago. He didn't talk about this today during, his show, because of he was talking about there was situations going on and whatnot. But anyway, the whole entire situation about Congressman Representative John Lewis and President-elect Donald Trump is really getting really crazy, and and my mother thinks that I'm gone crazy. And what Lewis says, because of what he had heard from Central Intelligence, that, or I think the intelligence, that is, that Trump's not a legitimate president because of the Russian hacking. And there are, and then of course we have most of the Democrats who are, excuse me, sorry, I'm a little bit burping because of breakfast. A lot of Democrats are pulling out because of this slanderism towards Donald Trump tweeted about Representative John Lewis, and and a lot of Democrats were supporting of him. Though some others say that they're not going because of him, and then there's the healthcare situation, and then of course I have my mother sitting here, and we're trying to watch the news about it, but she had to turn off the TV and turn off the heat because she had to go upstairs, go to bed. But I guess my mother haven't heard of what's going on with what Trump's trying to do. He's trying to take down Obamacare to make sure, and a lot of people are seeing this as a lot of people are going to die because they don't have the appropriate medication and whatnot. That first of all, I was starting to believe that, but I'm starting to a little bit doubt. I mean, what do you mean by what do you mean how they're gonna die? I mean, sorry, I'm already nearly done, and I don't have any health insurance. Thank you very much, parents. Crazy idiots. I mean, and that's where the whole entire thing really wrapped my head around. I mean, and it's just, and I'm just hearing this from news. I mean, and I'm not talking about CNN. I mean, I'm talking about my local channels, the CBS local affiliate, and Philadelphia, ABC affiliate in Philadelphia. Actually, even though they are affiliates for Philadelphia, that their locations are not in Philadelphia for some reason. Don't ask me why about that. They were, but I think they had to move. Don't look at me like that, okay? But anyway, but I don't know. I just don't know. Just letting you guys know. And as I know that a lot of people are, even though the interviewers are taking this to the streets and how angry they are. And there's others. And the question me is, there people out there being just racist? I think so, but then again, a lot of people are saying, oh, I'm not a racist. Well, then explain to me, how can you be? Because, for example, my parents are racist. Even my mother said, oh, I'm not a racist. Really? Do we have to go talking about people who are at least I don't know if I'm supposed to say Hispanic or Latinos, but calling them without figuring out calling them Mexican is disgusting. Because you don't know if they are Mexican or not. And of course, we have my father on the other hand. Oh, I never forgive him that time when I had to go to get therapy for my back. Heck. A few years ago. Actually, it's more than a few. When was it? About 7 years ago, I think. I went to go get therapy, and my father, who had to take me to therapy because my mother had to work, he said a swear word to me. And it was something very offensive to black people. And that's the reason why I was humiliated. Okay. Even though it was in the car, I was still humiliated for him to say that. I mean, he said that word and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. He shouldn't have said that. And when I'm trying to, and even though when I try to explain to my mother tonight about what's going on, she turns this into like the worst situation because she's trying to act like she's like what her grandfather told her. You mean my great grandfather that I never met? She said because she tells me, oh, I don't know about this guy, so I never heard about him. Well, I should have just told her, my grandfather told me. I should have retaliated and said, oh, you mean my great grandfather that I never met? I couldn't think about that time, but, my mind is totally, right now, screwed up. And it's nothing mostly about politics. It's just because if you guys don't know, I'm not sure if my eyes are showing. Besides, I have dark circles and I'm still trying to get to sleep on early, but, well, at least probably my face would show it, but it's a little bit pink, and it's not because I'm kind of blushing, it's because I was crying, unless I'm still a bit red. No, it's just pink. I was about to say, better not because of the mask that I got from Walgreens months ago and said to use it today. Go fig. But, yeah, my mind is just messed up because I was crying my eyes out because I haven't been watching Chris in several months. Actually, since, when was the last time I watched Chris? Oh, it was around August. When Revolve was still working with Fight TV. And now, here we are, and of course, what happened in October, that was just pure ugly. I mean, it was, did I say August? Or was it September? I can't remember when's the last, I think it was August, but maybe it was September. No, it was September. Yeah, because I remember the next month, because I was down in Florida, and I was acting so awful because of me wanting to say Chris, and I didn't know where the heck he was. I mean, I was in Florida, and then I find out he's in Chile, and I don't know who he wrestled, or how the match won, and so that happened, and then, as I was about to leave, I find out, and this is October, okay? This is months ago. Okay, so I find out when I get to Florida, he's in Chile. Don't know who he was wrestling. Don't know how the match went. It was just totally disturbing. So then, I'm still in Florida. I don't know if Chris came back to Florida. Then the next thing you know, I find out he's in Ireland for a show. And and I'm leaving and he's in Ireland. I'm like, you really? Ugh. And the only thing that while I was in Florida, I have to deal with the craziest people in my life, and a sick grandmother, and I'm acting like I'd rather just see Chris. Oy. Besides that, the only thing he just kept me so mellow, not freaked out, is I was watching Jordan. And in fact, because the house that my mother and my uncle had paid for to spend for nearly almost a week, if it wasn't for my brother who had to be here for the weekend, actually. Not here. I mean, it was more like he had to be in Delaware, I think. Anyway, I think it was Delaware, or probably was Pennsylvania, or somewhere up north Jersey. I don't know. But it was just bad. I mean, seriously. But, and of course, that week when I was in Florida, I find out on Twitter that Gabe Spolowski says to do not announce that we are done with Fight TV. There was no explanation of this. They announced Flow Sports, and I'm thinking, wait, what? Turns out, I go check this out, and it looks like, I don't know, ESPN, Sports Illustrated website. Ugh. Of course, until I found out more, and it turns out it was a scam. And worse, Daddy got involved. So that's super ugly. And then, of course, and that's just October. December? Oh my god. Anyway, I'm not really about to head I'm out 2 shakes ready to curse somebody out. I'm gonna have to warn my friend Valentina about somebody. And I'm gonna have to tell her to warn some others. But anyway, what was I about to say? So then, of course, we have the rumors fiasco, and now it turned out to be true. And then I find out, I had to go there. I mean, I was really angry, really upset about this, and on top of that, oh wait, what the? I've been notified? Jeez, I guess my Twitter's... okay, it was about something. I may have to go. Of course, all this nonsense and whatnot. Sorry, guys. Of course, something more of this happened. You never see this, and you never say this would ever happen. And it's somehow my fault in the way. And, what I'm showing you guys is a picture, of Chris in suit with a tie. And I don't know if it's because of what I tweeted out about 5 years ago, and he probably know, and then something he remembered, or I don't know. I don't know where the idea he got that from, but I'll try to put in my 2 cents into this. I think I have something to do with this, and it happened about almost 5 years ago. And please do not hate me on this, but I will try to put my best. And let me explain. I was watching SmackDown, and it was around August of 2012. And I don't remember if I told my friend Valentino on Twitter, but I probably did. But I probably, sorry, notifications. But I probably, tweeted out, or something like that. I don't remember. All I remember was that I remember seeing Alberto Del Rio, and he came out, and he was just nice. And I think I said to myself, and I don't remember if I tweeted or if I said anything about this, but I mean, it's impossible for finding my tweets unless you guys have figured out a way how you can do that. But I remember watching SmackDown. I remember Alberto Del Rio coming out, and I remember that him dressing up, and I was hoping, and I was praying that seeing Chris dressed like that. apparently, that was in August. Then October came, and I had to celebrate my brother's birthday. We had to go out. It was on October 3rd, even though his birthday was October 1st. But as I remember, we were supposed to go out to dinner. We were supposed to go to this restaurant that even though it caused my mother to pay $100. We had to go to this restaurant where my brother had played poker. And it was really kind of empty. But my brother really wanted to have dinner there. Here's what happened. And believe me, you'll hear what happens. So, I was sitting down on the couch, and I was waiting and ready to go. My brother just decided to just leave the house. Not saying, come on, Lindsie, let's go. Don't say anything. He just left. I'm like, what the crap? So I I had my phone. Not this phone I'm using to record. I had my iPhone 4S, I think. Finding out he leaves me, I call my mother and tell her, Jonathan just left the house without me. And he said, and I know because we went to go to this restaurant. So because of this, my mother got so mad. She was ready to kill my brother. Okay, but here's what happened. So because after I talked to my mother, I go on to Daily Motion, and yes, this still is. And somebody had uploaded NXT. And I know there's a lot of people are totally against it. But hear me out. I mean, it was at the time the best thing going without me going on to Hulu, and ended up paying $7.99 per month. Because that's what they were doing before they had their own network, and which they ended up now offering it at $9.99 per month on their app. And you have to understand, this is going to be bad. So, anyway, I watched it. I find out Chris was dressed up, and he was dressed up, and how I found out is I was watching NXT. They were talking about what happened the week before, where Chris got a little bit mad and out of control because he went to go after Richie Steamboat. So apparently, omitted into was just one whole minute of what happened with Chris gone crazy. My God. Next thing you know, I see Dolph Ziggler's brother there, who's the backstage interviewer, coming out, and I'm looking in the distance of Full Sail. I think it was the entrance of the Full Sail that is used for the NXT taping, and all of a sudden I see somebody really out there in the distance. And he was in a green. He was wearing a green button shirt, jacket, pants. You know, the whole entire thing. What men wear, no tie. And to my own eyes, I'm like, "Is that Chris?" I'm like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, and I see, and here comes Dolph Ziggler's brother. The view of this, and I see it. It turns out till I had to stick it right on the screen. It was definitely Chris. I'm like, oh my God, Chris! Oh, like I was freaking down in tears, man. I was like, oh my God, Chris! I was like, who are you? What have you done to Chris? I'm like, good Lord. I was crying. I told Valentina, and she was like, couldn't believe it. And I told her this, but of course I got annoyed with Dolph Ziggler's brother. So anyway, that was the first time. And then when I saw Chris, then I got on to Twitter and I tweeted out to Chris saying, "You look really nice in a suit, Chris." No, actually, I had though I had said something differently, but I did tweet it at his Twitter handle. Ugh. So, anyway, so that's how the whole entire situation started. Until the next time I saw Chris dressed up was around the time with Ray Pullen, who was wrestling at that time, Leo Kruger, you know, he's now known as Aldo Rose. Anyway, Chris was on commentary, and he and Regal, and I forget there was a third person, but I forget who it was. And I remember seeing Chris in commentary, and like, oh my God, what the? I'm like, Chris? I'm like, jeez Louise. Him and Regal were both sitting on commentary, and I thought, I was worried. I was thinking, what's going to happen during this situation? If Chris going to go and tag Regal or something. Turns out it wasn't the case until the episode, till the WrestleMania episode of NXT. And there was no NXT talent except for Chris, because he went after Regal. Well, and the funniest thing is, I'm thinking about this right now, is, I don't know if you have, I guess like you can say I went on to w.com and actually no, let me scratch that. I had the app downloaded and I was trying to see if I had a chance to, if I could see past episodes of NXT, especially has to do with Chris. But instead, I see there was photos of the UK tournament, and despite of who won, actually, I had to see William Regal, and oh my God, he's wearing Regal's outfit that he had wore for the tournament, with a jacket, no doubt, is nearly about the same outfit Chris had wore, or that about nearly 4 years ago when he tagged Regal on commentary. I'm like, oh, William. So I'm like, holy crap, Regal's wearing the same kind of outfit Chris is wearing. And the night Chris attacked him on NXT, on the NXT tapings, I'm like, good grief. But anyway, so I remember seeing Chris dress up, and I remember him attacking Regal. And then he gets on commentary, and I don't forget who he was with, and Chris was in a different outfit, and he looked nice and all whatnot, and then Regal comes out and attacked him, nearly ruining the rest of the NXT show. I'm like, really, Regal? You going after him like that? Until I found out they had to end up sunless afterwards. It was just too crazy that I had to watch those guys try to kick each other's butts. And then, of course, there was, upon his release, and then soon after that, there was the most craziest but fun time of him in the independent scene yet again. And there were a lot of things happening. Now, before I continue on, and actually I'm going to try to wrap this up because I'm about to hit 35. But anyway, I wanted to tell you guys one other thing. I've seen comments on videos about Chris, and there are a lot of people who are very nasty. And this is not just YouTube, but it's also on Twitter too. A lot of people are complaining about Chris being fat, and I had to see it on those because they think he ate a lot. Whoa, what the heck? Got a notification. Wait, that's weird. Okay, newsflash. The reason why Chris ended up gaining weight is because he had a thyroid issue, which is now under control. And I'm pretty sure in the next several months, you'll probably see a difference, that he'll try to lose the weight. But please do not make fun of him, because you think he sat down and ate a lot. No, he didn't. He has a thyroid issue. In fact, he talked about this on the Sam Roberts podcast, which I can provide you guys the link on that on YouTube. But yeah, seriously, hey, Chris had a thyroid problem. Alright? So, anyway. So, the next person decides to say anything about Chris being overweight, I hope you are about to consider to lose your internet privileges. Because anybody who decides to think it's okay to bully Chris like that, you might as well lose your internet privileges. Because it nearly disgusts me, because I have to find out my favorite wrestler is being insulted. I mean, what is wrong with people these days? I mean, heck, I had to see from my friend Skits, who was on Twitter, and he tweeted out that they're complaining about Chris overweight. You need to stop doing that, alright? Making fun of somebody because of their weight is considered being cyberbullying, and we're not in school. The way of this insults is like you are. And believe me, I have written a piece on Wrestling Heads about this kind of bull crap that's been thrown at Chris. And I had to show off one person on Twitter who was actually a very horrible woman, because her husband wanted to go to a wrestling show. And instead for not agreeing to it and being nice and all, she bitched and complained. She insulted the fans. She insulted Chris. And I was like, why is this woman on Twitter and why is she complaining? I mean, I know some of you guys will say, well, there's the old saying, a happy wife is a happy life. Not when it comes to when you have somebody you love and they want to do something, and maybe he already did something what she wanted, and then he wants to go, and she said okay, and then she goes, and then she acts like she's a freaking immature person. I mean, and I really wanted to yell at her. Instead, I had no choice but to report her and block her for her profanity. Inciting to insulting the fans who are attending the show, and insulting Chris. I am lucky enough I haven't told. I don't know if my friend Skits knows about this, but I should have tweeted to him, and I should have told him, I say, hey, if you've seen this bimbo, have her thrown out and have her banned. And yes, believe me, this was I told you this, I think. She was it was a PWG show. And I should have told her, I should have told Skits, I said, if you've seen this bimbo, tell Excalibur to have her banned. Tell her she's not welcome because she's insulting you guys. She tries to insult the wrestlers, especially she decided to insult Chris. He would know. I'm pretty sure he would have told Excalibur, and he would know. Because you're not supposed to go to a wrestling. If you're going to a wrestling show with your spouse, if your spouse wants to, and you already did what you want to do, don't you dare start complaining. But anyway, I'm going to have to end this up because this is going to be a very long video and it's about to hit the 40-minute mark. So anyway, guys, one other thing. I'm going to promise you guys that I will have my gaming stuff first thing tomorrow. I will also try to do live stream. I'm going to do live stream. And I mean, not you now, not using my phone. well, I am using my phone, but it's not going to be me talking. I'm going to do my first ever gameplay live stream. And I have a way. Because what happened was Saturday night, I was on the computer, and I decided to Google search how to live stream on my phone when I'm playing my game. Turns out there was a way. Thanks a lot to the YouTube gaming app. I mean, you can't do it on iPad. Because unless the only way you can live stream and you have to do is you have to have some kind of thing. But for Android, yeah, the YouTube gaming app can let you live stream, and I will do that in my first live stream, and I will make the announcement on my main channel as soon as I can. Alright? So anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. So anyway, thank you for you guys watching. I promise you guys that tomorrow I'll be doing a little bit of I'll do a little bit of a gaming live stream, and then I'll be back on my main channel to talk about NCIS Bull and NCIS New Orleans, because I found out there are new episodes tomorrow night with tomorrow. Well, this video I'm recording it's for tomorrow night. That is tomorrow night. Because in the episodes, because I so know is for an NCIS, Giz goes off the grid because he goes back undercover, or because he goes off the grid because of a brother of a fugitive in the NCIS, the most wanted, is out, I guess, or something, but we'll find out. Bull, he's dealing with, Jason and his team are dealing with a football player who is in love with his teacher. Jeez, I cringe on this. I totally cringe on this because about this kind of relationship. And you thought college professors who are male college professors and their female students hook up, or vice versa. And then I think there's something going on in NCIS New Orleans, and I forgot because I'm nearly forgetting whatnot. But anyway, guys, sorry if you guys had to hear this long rant, but understand this. I'm very sorry. And I promise you guys, the next time I will talk about Scorpion and put the separate from my blog. Alright, so anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.